Hi everybody and welcome to Mika Reads Tarot. So this is going to be something different that I'm trying. Halloween is almost here and I'm feeling super festive and I love Halloween and everything creepy. And so I am going to color in the Beauty of Horror 2. Super excited. I wish I could have gotten a better angle for you guys so that you could see what I'm seeing, but you know, in the future that will come. I didn't really pick out a specific page that I wanted to work on, and these are like super elaborate. I don't know if you guys can see these, but some of them are super elaborate, and I know that I'm not going to be able to finish one in one sitting. Because I don't have a lot of battery on my phone. I probably should have charged it before. What are we gonna do? You know, sue me. Don't really sue me. I love you guys. So I'm gonna pick one and then I'm gonna start to color, and if I get any messages come through or any channeled tidbits, then I will be talking about those. And I'm also going, oh, that's cute. I'm also going to talk, sorry, I'm distracted. These are awesome. I'm also going to talk about some of my paranormal experiences because being awakened, you tend to have gone through certain things to sort of, what am I wanting to say here? If you are into the paranormal, chances are you've probably had things happen when you were very young that no one really understood, and so I'm just going to talk about some of the stuff that I went through. And so I don't know what picture I want, you guys. There's just so many to choose from, and I don't know which one to choose. Oh, there's a Ouija board. I don't like the Ouija board, guys. The channel tends to get a little dirty, a little cluttered. Sometimes what comes through isn't very nice. And so I tend not to mess around with those. But oh, this is awesome. Okay, do I want that one? I don't know. I'm so undecided. I should have did this live so then you guys could tell me which one to color. Oh, here's one where you can make your own. Because I can't draw for shit. Alright, so I'm just going to go back and land on one. Okay, because this is going to take forever. I'm always super undecided. And this is hilarious. Okay, boom. I'm gonna do her. There we go. That came out very wrong. Sex on the brain, guys. Sorry. Okay, so oh, you can't see it. Can you see it? I'm gonna color her. Okay. I don't know where it's from, but let's see what I'm feeling here. Guys, I got all kinds of colors. I am just like a big kid. I love to do this type of stuff. I hardly ever get the time to do it though. This is red. This is red, isn't it? Yes, we're gonna do some red. Okay, let's see. So I will start, and then whatever comes through, I don't want red. Okay, yeah, that's what I want. Okay. So whatever comes through, then I will talk about it, yeah? So about some of my paranormal experiences, I can say that where do I want to start? Oh my gosh. Okay, so here we go. I remember being a teenager in my family home, and I was cleaning my room one night, and I was the only one upstairs. Well, it wasn't really nighttime. It was, the sun had gone down. And two of my uncles, they were like downstairs outside. And so I just kind of had the hall light off. It was dark in the hallway, and I was sweeping my room, you know, just cleaning up like normal, and I happened to glance over at the doorway, and I saw one of my uncles standing there, kind of hunched over, like with an evil sort of look on his face, kind of like, I don't know, it really scared me. It happened in a flash, and he did like this little snicker, and I didn't hear it, but I saw it, like the look on his face, if you could think of like what a sneer would look like. And I remember being so terrified that I dropped the broom and I bolted for the stairs. Now here's the thing. So I saw it at the doorway, but by the time I dropped the broom and ran for the door, he was not there. Okay, and I got down the stairs and out the door so fast that there was no way that he could have gotten outside without me seeing him. I mean, he would have had to unlock the door, open the door, shut the door. The door was locked when I went downstairs, so I, you know, ran outside, and they were just there talking, and like I interrupted a conversation. And so I asked him, like, were you just upstairs? And my other uncle's like, geez, you look like you just saw a ghost. And I was like, are you, you know, you're not messing with me or anything, right? Like, it felt like he was, you know, it was one of those things where I was just really, really shooken up. And so that was, I guess, his doppelganger, if you will. And for those of you that don't know what a doppelganger is, it's just a spirit double, and there are supposedly, if you see your own, then that's a very bad omen. It means that you're going to die. That isn't the only time that we've had experiences with doppelgangers. Not really sure if I should have asked my son if I could share his story, but from, I guess, my point of view was, you know, a significant other that I had. My son had gone to a friend's house, and when he got back, he saw this significant other leaving out the back door, saying that they were going to the store. Do you want anything? And he actually told him, you know, like, here, you can get me this, and this. I think which was like candy or something. And when he came into the house, I was in the house, and the significant other was also in the house, and he looked confused. And he said, you know, I just saw you outside. And, you know, significant other, of course, was like, no, I've been in here with your mom. And it's, you know, just weird stuff always happened at that particular house. But it was more than that house. You get me? So, okay, channeling coming through. It's more than just the house per se. If you're experiencing paranormal activity sometimes, and I'm thinking of the line from, I think it's Insidious, if you've ever seen Insidious, the part where she goes, the house isn't haunted, it's your son. So in some cases, it can very well just be that you're open to this activity. And so I've always had moments where no matter where I was, something always happened. And it's just really, it was a lot to deal with because it was frightening at the time, and I didn't really understand it. I just knew that it was stuff that happened. There was one time where I was in Alabama. We'd stayed there for about 3 years, and we lived in this little camper, and it wasn't very big, and it had no plumbing. And so there was what they called a bathhouse, and it's where you could go and take a shower and use the bathroom. And so in the middle of the night, I'd have to walk across this huge field in between, you know, campers and trailers, and cabins, because we were on a campground, to go to the bathroom. And you know, that could be kind of scary in the middle of the night, but we felt safe, even though we were on, I think it was 44 interstate. We felt safe enough sometimes to leave our door unlocked because we didn't think anybody would, you know, come mess with us. We were cool. And so I remember getting up, going to the bathhouse. It was like 4 in the morning. I'm like, I really don't want to go, but I really gotta pee. I know it's probably TMI. I don't care. This is my story, so just listen. And so I remember going and, you know, getting there, handling my business, and about halfway through, I could hear this shuffling outside, like, you know, feet walking back and forth, and I'm like, oh, somebody has to go. And I'm like, I'll be right out, you know, just, you know, normal being courteous, if you will. And I could hear the shuffling, I could see the shadow of the feet, but no one said anything. And so I'm like, okay, well, whatever. So I hurry up and I got up, you know, I'm like, I'm always super nice. Like, if somebody has to go to the bathroom, I don't want to be the reason that they have to hold it. So I hurried and, you know, washed my hands, and I opened the door and there was nobody there. And I'm like, oh, well, maybe they just went back to where they were. The way that it was set up was there were cabins that were flushed to the side, and you could easily just walk through that little, there's like a little cutway, like a little path. And you could just easily go through that little path and be, I guess, facing the lake, sort of, to where the cabins were, where the cabin entrances were. So I'm like, oh, well, maybe they went back to their cabin. Not really thinking that if they came from a cabin, that cabin had a bathroom in it. That's hindsight. Like, I literally just thought of that right now. But it was just one of those things, and I'm like, oh, well, maybe they went back. So I'm heading back to the camper, and the ground is kind of that crunchy, you know, dry, because it's almost winter. It's kind of chilly, like really chilly outside. And I'm like walking, and I could hear, at first I thought it was like my footsteps echoing, and I'm like, okay, that's weird. But it sounded like footsteps were following me. And so I kind of stopped, didn't hear anything. And then I'd start walking again, and I'd hear them again. And I'm like, is that my, you know, my feet echoing? And then I stopped, and then but I heard them that time when I stopped. Like, I could hear footsteps, and I'm like, okay, I'm looking around, I don't see anybody. I'm like, this is creeping me the F out. And so I start walking as fast as I can, and I'm like, I don't care what it is or who it is. You're not going to make me run. Like, you're not going to have that power over me. And so I started walking a little bit faster, and then the footsteps got faster. Like, whatever this was following me. And I got that, you know, that fight or flight, like, you need to get out of there. And so I moved as fast as I could. I made it to the camper. I got inside, latched the door, and my dog was on alert. Like, normally normally she wouldn't do that, but she was on high alert, and she had gotten up, and she was staring at the window, but then there were 2 windows, so she was staring back and forth. I could hear the footsteps going around the camper, like something was walking around it. And the way that we had the camper set up was, there was no way that someone could go behind the camper, because it was flush against a fence. And so you would have to literally step up onto the hitch in order to squeeze between there, and then we would feel you when you squeeze between there, and, you know, the camper would rock because the foundation wasn't solid. And so I'm terrified. I'm wanting to wake him up, but then I'm like, I better not. And this thing just kept going around in circles and circles. My dog never barked, but her hackles were raised. And if you don't know what hackles are, if you're not a dog person, It's that ridge that's just like right, they get this little ridge like right in the middle of their back that the hair just stood up. And so, you know, it was creeping me out. I kind of jumped under the covers and was just closed my eyes like, go away, go away, go away, go away, just over and over again. And I guess I fell asleep that way, because when I woke up it was morning and it was gone. You know, so just like little stuff like that, that, you know, would creep me out. I'm sorry, I'm hearing something. Hold on. Something about shiny. The shiny thing. Okay, so I don't know who I'm picking up on, but what shiny thing? The shiny thing by the mirror. I don't even know. I don't know what that means. Maybe it's significant for somebody. The shiny thing by the mirror. I'm not sure. Okay. Well, that was interesting. Okay. Let's see. What other paranormal experiences I can share with you guys? I don't want to get into all of them because some of them are quite personal. I can tell you about my first apparition. It was again back in that family house. I was, oh my gosh, I don't even remember how old I was. I guess in my early 20s, or was I still teen? I don't remember. It was years ago. But I do remember I was standing at my dresser and I was brushing my hair, and out of the corner of my eye I saw someone standing there. Ew, I don't want that color. And I turned quickly and it was a little girl. So I froze. And all this happened like super fast. Like I literally turned, froze, blinked, and she was gone. But I can say that I can remember her in vivid detail and what she had on. It was a pink dress, lace socks, the little white lace socks, the ones that kind of, you have to fold them over. So if you look, I'm telling my age, right? If you're, I don't want to use this either. If you're old enough to remember those socks, then yeah, they were the little white lace ones. And then she had on some little patent leather shoes. And it was just really, it happened super fast. And so, I don't know, it was one of those things. She had pigtails, ribbons in her hair, and she was there and then she was gone. Another brush-in with her, I never saw her again, but I remember this dream that I had where I woke up in a panic and I was just freaked out and, trying to, I felt like I was running around the house, and then I would get visions of corners and under things, and I'm like, what is happening right now? Like, what am I really seeing here? And once I was able to calm myself down, sorry if I keep pausing, it's just I don't want to share too much of the story because there are other people involved and I did not ask if I could include them, and I don't want to be rude in doing that. And so once I was able to calm down, I was able to kind of ascertain what I was sensing, and it was her, and she was looking for a doll. And I think it's really kind of weird that I'm actually coloring this little girl here, so I guess We're already channeling, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, we are. Oh, okay. The shiny thing, whatever that is, it's broken and it needs super glue. So I did pick up that. I still didn't hear what the shiny thing was. Spirit, do you want to tell us what the shiny thing is? I just heard watch. Somebody's watch is broken. Oh, antique. Okay, antique watch. This is an antique watch given to you by your grandfather, and you're wanting to get it repaired. And you thought about using glue. Don't use glue. Take it to like a shop or something so they can, you know, do it the right way. Okay. Anything else? I don't know what I'm doing with this picture, you guys. I haven't colored in quite a while. Do not laugh at what I'm doing if you can see what I'm doing, because I can't check the camera. And I just went outside of the line. I'm so hurt. Does anybody else have that issue? Put it in the comments if you hate going outside of the line when you're coloring. It's like, these are colored pencils. I can't erase it. I can try and cover it up with something, but this is black. You can't cover up black with a light color. Can you? Oh. Markers, are you here? I just heard oh, my cat's here. I just heard applesauce in my head. And that made me think of that time I was in the chat over at JKS. Or was it at JKS or was it with Nat? Where you were where I was like, who's thinking of the applesauce? And you were like, it was you. Anywho, okay. What else? I didn't get a pencil sharpener. Darn, I'm not gonna be able to finish her other wing. I'm hurt. Okay, let's get back on track. So we sort of got lost there with that last channeling. Let's see, what's another one I can tell you guys about? I remember my first awakening, like, I think it was 2010. I had just lost my my grandpa, but I also had no, I take it back, it was 2011, I think. I just lost my grandpa, but I also had just met my person, my DM, and I went through the awakening process. So, you know, seeing 1111, and at the time I didn't really know what it was. I was like, oh, 1111, that's so cool, make a wish, you know. But I didn't know at the time that that's what was happening. You know, I had been like meditating and stuff because he taught me how to meditate and all these cool things. But hi Kitty, she thinks I'm talking to her, how sweet. But so I would have all these dreams and visions and just different things that were so confusing because at the time I didn't have anybody. I don't think I had internet, so, you know, we were kind of, I didn't have the soul family, that the same families that I have now, and it was very lonely. But I'd have these visions and dreams and nightmares that were constantly bombarding me. Like there was, I guess it may have been a spirit guide in one of them where there was like this wolf, and I was just so terrified because I didn't know, you know, that hey, this probably is this probably is a guide that was sent to help. And so just being afraid of opening up and really asking questions and, seeing what comes through. And remember, certain family members would say, oh, not everything is supernatural. And I'm like, yeah, not everything is supernatural, but, when you've seen things and when you've heard things and when you've felt things, no one can tell you what you feel, So I don't know who that's for, but you know what you know. Shout out to Jupiter over at Jupiter 1111. Indeed, when you know, and no one can take that from you. And so just be rest assured in that the experiences that you've had are yours, and they're for you to analyze, not for everyone else. If you choose to share them, you can share them in the comments. You can also email me if you want to share them with me. But know that what you experience in your experience and on your path is true to you, and so no one can take that from you. Okay, I don't know who that was for, but you needed to hear it. Let's see. Oh, I have a perfect one I can share. This one happened actually in this apartment here not too long ago. I'd say probably a few years ago. I decided to embark on some meditation, which I had not been doing before, and so I was completely new to it. And I said, you know what, I'm just gonna follow this one here on YouTube and see what happens. And it was very eventful. So this is what happened. The room was dark. My bedroom was dark, and I went into the meditation, and I sort of, I guess my third eye had opened, but it sort of, I guess I always say I locked in with something. Like, to me, it looked like a gray alien. I don't like them very much, so it could have also been something using my fear, but this being latched on to my person and would not let go for the moment. It happened very quickly, I'm sure, but it was enough to shake me up and make me not want to ever do it again. There was like this dark tunnel, sort of. It peered in at me, and the feeling that I got was that it kind of assessed me, like I guess trying to see how much power I had and whether I would be a threat. And when it determined that I wasn't, or that I wasn't powerful enough, then it released me. And I was so shaken up by that because I was trying to pull away, and I had tears in my eyes as it released me, and I was able to come out of it. It really shook me up. And so just a word of warning for if you're new to this and you're just getting into meditations and you're not quite sure what you're doing, I would definitely make sure that you call on your spirit guides and your angels to protect you as you go into those elevated states, because not only are we experiencing them, but we're also experiencing other dimensions interdimensionally, and so you don't know what you're going to come across. And so also during that same meditation, before that part happened, I had actually invited beings to come in, that were of love and light, and two of them actually entered the room. So I could see them through my third eye, as if I was seeing my room. And so the room was dark, but there was a light sort of in the hallway. But in my vision, in my third eye, the light was out in the hallway. Okay. And this woman walked in, and it seemed as if she brought in the light of the sun with her. And so I nicknamed her Lady Sunshine. I got such a warm, inviting feeling from her. And immediately when she walked in, after she walked in, another being walked in with her. And this one was not human. Lady Sunshine looked very human. And I'll give you a description of her in just a second. But the second being that walked in was not human at all. He was extremely tall. He was so tall that he had to bend down to come into the room because his head touched the ceiling, and he had to keep his head somewhat sort of bent. And I remember I was in the meditation and I was like, oh, there are two of you. I mean, I didn't say it out loud, but in my mind. I didn't get an evil type or negative vibe from him. And I think he was just like, I don't know if he came in with her, like they were traveling together, or if he just heard the invitation and was like, hey, I'm gonna come say what's up. And so she came into the room and she was just very, very loving and caring. I felt that, and I felt comfortable with her. When it was done, I remember asking them questions, but I don't remember the questions that I asked, and I don't remember the answers because it was a little while ago. And in hindsight, I probably should have wrote it down because it was such an amazing experience. But so I just heard Chelsea and Rita. Okay. So I don't know if that's you or if you know someone by those names. But okay, so when it was all said and done, I, thanked them for coming and asked them to please not linger. And, it was done. A little bit later is when the thing happened with the gray. And I never really told a lot of people about that. But the next morning, my son, I used to sleep with my door open. And the next morning, my son said, Mommy, by the way, there was somebody sitting in your chair last night. And I said, okay, that's not creepy at all. And I said, can you describe who you saw? And I bullshit you not. You two don't get me for cursing. I bullshit you not. It was Lady Sunshine, you guys. He described everything that she had on. Oh, I told you I'd describe her. So I called her Lady Sunshine because when she came into the room, she brought so much light with her that it felt like sunshine. Okay, she had on a dress with the yellow flowers. The yellow dress with the white flowers. You know those little flowers that we used to draw when we were kids, with the circle in the middle, and then we draw each individual petal? Those. She had those on her dress. I think the dress was yellow and the flowers were white. And then the center of the flower, I think, was also like a yellowish. And her hair, and here I go, I'm going to tell my age again. If you guys remember the Cabbage Patch Kids from back in the day that had the corn silk hair, I used to have one, and her hair looked like that, only it was like super soft and shiny and that Technicolor brown. It wasn't like a normal, like a normal brown. But anywho, he described her to a T and said that she had been sitting in my chair watching over me. And so I thought that was pretty cool that I got some validation from that. Let's see what else. I've had so many experiences, you guys. I've been sitting here in this kitchen, like at my sink over there, and doing dishes, and I heard a voice in my ear, just disembodied. Didn't really say anything. It was more like a sound, and it, you know, that shook me up. It's like, you think me having all these experiences would kind of sober me a little bit, that I wouldn't be so afraid of it. I'd be used to it, but you never really get used to a lot of the things that happen. Rebecca, I just heard Rebecca. Okay. I also just heard you've had experiences in your bathroom. Ooh, I hope I'm not going to touch anybody's nerves here, but for whoever's had experiences in their bathroom, that is your grandmother. She tries to get your attention in the bathroom. The lights flicker. Don't be afraid of her. She loves you. She doesn't want to hurt you. She knows that you're scared. She doesn't mean to scare you. She's sorry. She just wants to get your attention and let you know that she's still there. She's around. She's at peace. She just likes to visit you. Okay, that's the second time I've had a channeling from a grandma. That's awesome. I didn't get to post that video, you guys, so that may be the same grandma trying to come through. That was a pick a card that I did, and for some reason I can't get it to upload to my computer from my phone. Speaking of phone, let me check my battery. Oh, it should be good. This video is running kind of long though. But yeah, so those are some of the paranormal experiences that I have had. If you guys see me doing the same lines over and over again with this coloring, it's because I like for my colors to be solid. It's like I see in Technicolor. Whenever I do my designs, like you guys see the little pictures for my videos, I like super bright contrast and super bright colors. I don't know why. It's always been that way. But yeah, so that's some of the stuff that I've gone through. I've also had episodes of sleep paralysis, which is not very fun. But what is sleep paralysis, right? There was one instance where I was at that house again, and I swear, you guys, that house, I know I said that thing, you know, about maybe it's not the house, maybe it's you. No, that house was pretty haunted. And it's torn down now. It was sold to a company that lived nearby, and they tore it down, and so I don't have to see it ever again, but the memory is still there, and the land is still there, and whatever was in there, hopefully it doesn't come find me, because I don't want that. But anywho, so I remember this one episode that I had where, again, you know, sleeping with my door open because it was summertime and it was super hot. We didn't have AC and we had the fan running, but it was hot. I remember that. It was super hot. But I woke up in the middle of the night. The hall light was on, but my my room light was off, and I immediately got the sense that there was something standing at the door, in the doorway, because it was, it felt massive. I couldn't see it, couldn't hear anything, and I couldn't move. And so I could see it in that I could kind of turn my head a little bit, but not much. And I immediately was afraid, not because of the sleep paralysis, but, you know, what is this thing that I'm sensing in the doorway? I felt it come in the door and start to walk over to me. And my fear increased, because I could feel it, I could sense it, and it wasn't nice. I need to sharpen this. But anyhow, I wanted to move, I wanted to get up, I wanted to shake the person next to me, and I couldn't. And I felt it get closer. Now here's the kicker. So as I'm laying there and I'm panicking inside because I can't move, I could feel this coldness near my feet. And might remind you that I told you it was super hot, okay? It's summertime. And I couldn't move. I could feel the cold on my feet. And the closer that this thing got to me, the colder I got. And the cold started to travel up my legs. And then it came around to my left side, because that was the side that I was sleeping on, away from the door. And the fear was so intense, and I couldn't move, and I couldn't say anything, and it was horrible. And this thing got closer, and the cold kept creeping up, and I was just like, oh my God, this thing is it's gonna grab me, or it's gonna do something to me. And so I remember closing my eyes as tight as I could, and I'm like, this thing, I got the impression of it leaning down over me. And I felt like if I opened my eyes, if I turned my head just a little bit, I would see it. And I didn't want to see it. And so I kept my eyes closed, and I kept trying to get the person that was next to me, I tried to get his attention, and finally he was able to wake up, and then he wrapped his arms around me, and I just cried like a baby, because it was so traumatic for me. And so, you know, just little things like that. And it's really frustrating when you try and tell it to somebody, and they're like, you know, they come up with this little scientific explanation, or, you know, something like that. Scientific my ass, okay? Tell me of one sleep paralysis instance where something good has happened. Nobody is seeing fucking sunshine. Don't give me YouTube. Look, nobody's seeing fucking sunshine and rainbows in sleep paralysis, okay? We're all experiencing dark, negative things. And so I don't want to hear, you know, science. I don't want to hear that. But anywho, so that's just some of the paranormal experiences I have had. I just heard the name Tony. Okay. I'm listening. Okay, I don't know what that was, but whatever that was, it's gone now. But yeah, so lots of things have really opened my eyes to the other side, and certainly especially now with the veil, you know, beginning to thin because we're closer to Halloween, like activity may be amping up for you, or you might be experiencing things that you just can't explain. And so just know that you're not crazy, that this stuff happens, and it's how you respond to it, really. You know, it's easy for me to sit here and say, you know, don't be afraid, don't have any fear. But, you know, when it's happening to you at the time, you can't help but be afraid of it. And so what I want to say, I guess, is try and analyze it to the best of your ability. So that way, at least you are not being as frightened. You know, for me, whenever something happens, I usually try and debunk it a little. You know, if I can't find an explanation for it, then I'll say, okay, well, this is something paranormal. I've also dabbled a little bit in ghost hunting and, you know, paranormal investigative type stuff. And so I've always been really fascinated with it ever since I was young, you know. I fell in love with all things paranormal and, you know, vampires. I mean, come on now. My first experience with vampires, The Lost Boys, how could you not love that movie? How could you not fall in love with the coolness of that particular vampire? But it was more than that. It was this feeling of being able to do whatever you wanted to do and not have any serious consequences. I mean, yeah, the vampires died at the end. I mean, come on, this was the 80s, so, you know, long before the moments of, you know, let's have the bad guys win. But they were some super awesome vamps, and it kind of sparked this whole I don't want to call it a fascination. It was more like an obsession. You know, I had to watch every vampire movie and compare them all. Like, how are they similar? How are they different? I wanted to know. And so, I've always been a horror movie fan. Always been fascinated with anything that happened as far as ghosts and, you know, creepy stuff, and just really into it. And I guess that's why I've had so many experiences, because I kind of opened myself up to that. But I think it was just on my path. It was just it was something that was meant to happen. This is silver. Oh my gosh, I've never had a silver colored pencil. One of my spirit guys like, ooh, shiny. Channel, please. I'm like, look, this is the channeling. Everything that comes out of my mouth is a channeling for somebody. And that was said with love, no cockiness there. I am almost finished with her dress. Oh my god, it's taking me forever. But let's see. You guys, put some of your experiences in the comments. Don't be afraid to share. So, I mentioned that I did some paranormal investigating. There's an app on the phone that I got a while back, a couple of years ago. It's called Echovox. And I got it because at the time, Echovox was around $20. It may still be. I haven't checked in a while. But it was $20, and it was all the other little play apps that you use for entertainment purposes were super cheap, and I'm like, this is $20, so it's got to be some seriousness. So I did some research and found more people using it and coming up with the results. And so I went ahead and tried it, and I was shocked to be getting replies, EVPs, and it was really interesting at the time. So I have a video, not a video, a recording on SoundCloud, and I will try to link it below. But I remember asking questions and getting answers, and I was like, wow, this is really this is really unique. But, you know, some people are like, well, you know, when you do that stuff in your house, you can't help but, you know, have things happen. And yeah, no, this stuff was happening before even Echovox. So, I don't know, just, it is what it is. If you're open to it, then it's going to happen. And if not, then it's not going to happen. And you just have to be open-minded and be willing to experience new things. That's the color I'm looking for. Sorry about that. I was looking for a really interesting color for her skin tone because she's kind of stitched together. So I want to get a little bit of greenish gray going. I don't know why. Feeling zombie. But anywho. So that is, those are some of the experiences that I've had. There are more, but you know, I don't know. I don't want to share them all. I mean, not that I don't want to share with you guys, but like I said, some of them are really personal, so I will keep some to myself. I just heard Shantae. I know a Shantae. Okay, that was weird. I also heard something about falling glass. So, you guys be careful around glass. Broken glass. What's that all about, Spirit? Broken glass. I don't like the screen. Now I can't take it back. Darn. Okay, well maybe I can cover it up or something. I don't know. But anyhow, this video is getting super long, guys, and as you can see, I am not even a quarter way through with this picture, but I just wanted to talk to you guys about some of the paranormal stuff that I've gone through and see if I can get any channelings come through, which I kind of did a little bit, but just something new to try and different, and a way for me to kind of talk with you guys. In the future, I'm going to be seeing if I can get a different setup, so then that way I can do more lives, and then I can see you guys in the comments and talk to you at the same time. But until then, this is kind of what I'm stuck with. I don't know why I want to keep touching up her leg, because it's not the color that I want it to be. It's not at all. But yeah, so definitely put some experiences, you guys, in the comments. Let me know what your anything that you had happen to you that you're kind of curious and want to talk about or have questions about. Feel free to ask. I don't mind sharing. So here we go. Look, this is what I've got so far. Isn't she pretty? Her dress is gorgeous because it's red, and red is one of my favorite colors. So yeah. See if we can get one last minute message out, Spirit. I just keep hearing Tony and Rebecca again. Why do I keep hearing those names? So you might know a Tony or Rebecca. That might be you. Okay, somebody said say yes. So I don't know what that is all about, but that is for you. If your name is Rebecca and you are dealing with Tony, he wants you to say yes. Don't know what that yes is to, but if it's marriage, woo girl. I just heard Rashawn. What? That was interesting. Rashawn, your best friend is Jelly. Is that what it is? She's jealous of you? Why? Why, Spirit? She thinks you have what she doesn't. Don't let it stress you. Love her anyway. Oh, so you're not spending as much time with her as you used to. Just like hang out with her for a little bit. Show her some love. She misses you. Okay. That was interesting. Thank you for allowing me to channel that, Spirit. Anything else? While I'm putting finishing touches on whatever skin this horrible little child has. She is quite gruesome, but she has a little bit of charm to her, doesn't she? Only a face a mother could love. And even sharper teeth that a mother couldn't love. Goodness gracious. This is a good coloring book for releasing stress too. It has a lot of intricate detail. And so having to do all these little going around stuff and twisting and turning and okay, yeah, I'm not gonna get finished with this, you guys. We'll have to come back and do another channeling and I'll pick up where I left off. Oh, my light just dimmed. Did you guys see that? So I think that's my cue to be like, yeah, let me go. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And again, if you want to share some of your experiences in the comments, please do. I'd love to read them. And I am going to come back and finish our little gruesome girl here. Okay. All right, guys. If you like this video, go ahead and share it, and if you haven't subscribed already, subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you're updated when I put out new videos. All right, guys. See you in the next video. Bye.